So just putting, if you want to put a long side of the bolster up to the wall, and then if you have that second bolster, or if you're using rolled up blanket to make that like letter T, and then we'll just sit on that one side, sliding our hips up against the wall or as close as we can get if we're using a chair, and then bringing the legs up. And so we'll start here. So the prop underneath the spine or underneath the head could be really nice just to support the neck and shoulders. And if your pillow and your hips are really snug up against the wall, you might lift your hips up and pull that pillow away a little bit so your tailbone can hang over the pillow. And then rest your pelvis back down. And so we start in this gentle inversion. You might be softly looking towards the toes, or you might choose to close the eyelids. And then let's very slowly move the toes. And then slowly move into those ankle rotations. A few times each direction. And already you can start to feel that heel to hip connection. And then coming back to that neutral space, you can feel your knees soften. You might even bounce the knees a little, bend, extend the knees. See if that can help release the back, lower back. And then find a comfortable place to let the legs rest. After that softening, bending, extending of the legs, let's start to focus on breathing into our belly. So you might bring your hands onto your belly, just as a guide for that inhale and that exhale. And so we'll consciously inhale for 4 to 6 counts. And exhale for 4 to 6 counts. And stay with that breath flow. And this can be a great time to make sure that the jaw and the collarbones are relaxed. And you can choose to keep your hands on your belly or let your arms rest out to the sides. We're going to go to some reclined pigeons, so just very gently bend your right knee. Bring your right foot to your left inner thigh. And if you'd like to, you could then cross the right ankle over the left thigh. And if you need more, start to bend the left knee, deepening that hip stretch on the right. But making sure that the lower back can still feel open and wide. It still feels easy to breathe into the lower torso. And then it could feel nice to wag your tail or move the hips from side to side. And then let's extend the left leg and uncross the right. Just bounce the knees a little bit, feel the backs of the legs bounce against the wall. And then we'll go to the second side. So bringing your left foot to your right inner thigh. And then you could cross your left ankle over your right thigh. And then you might slide your right heel down the wall. But making sure that your lower back and hips are still relaxed on the prop or on the ground. And then it still feels easy to breathe into the lower belly and the lower back. And then you could wag your tail from side to side. And try a few more breaths here. Still spreading the fingers and the toes. And then let's extend the right leg up, uncross the left, and we bounce the knees. Feel the backs of the legs relaxing towards the wall or the chair. And then we'll do Supta Baddha Konasana here. Bring the soles of the feet together, let the knees come apart. You can bring your hands to your knees or your inner thighs and then gently press one leg and then the other. You could wag your tail from side to side. And then come back to neutral for a few more breaths. Now it could feel nice to keep your hands on your legs, or it might feel nice to reach those arms overhead, maybe the fingertips touch the ground, if that doesn't feel too much on your shoulders. Arms could also just rest to the sides, palms facing up for a few more rounds of breath. And if you haven't exhaled out the mouth yet in practice, you might try that, inhaling through the nose and exhaling out the mouth. Okay, stay here longer if you'd like. Otherwise, use your hands to draw your knees together like a book. And then let's walk our feet over to the right to roll to the right side for fetal position. You could keep your head on top of your pillow or slide your head on top of your right arm. And then we'll feel the palms press down, reach the hips to the floor, and slowly come up to seated. Let your head come up last. And then let's go to supported child's pose. So you could come back to your center practice space. Today you might use that blanket underneath your shins. If you want to give your knees a little extra support, you might fold over the long side of the blanket to place behind your knees. And then finding the height for the blocks that feel best for you. So you could have your blocks 1/3 level, 1 second. You might just use one block just to give the head a little extra height and place your pillow on top of it. But for that rolled up blanket for your knees, it'll give your knees a little extra space to stretch, and you can bring that blanket behind you tuck the blanket snug behind the knees, and then sit back towards your heels. Okay. And then got that block that can go underneath the pillow. We lengthen the spine and lay down. Starting with your head looking to one side. And feel your shoulders slide down from the ears. We can spread the fingers and toes or feel space between the fingers and toes. Back to our 4 count inhale, 4 count exhale. If you're practicing at 6 count, that's good too. Connecting to the energy of the child's pose, that posture of complete surrender. And also feeling that support with that surrender as you exhale out, relaxing into the props a little more. And then we'll bring in that opposing neck stretch. Press into the palms, lift the torso up enough to rotate your head to look to the opposite side and lay down again. So as you lay down, you can start to notice your breath, feel your fingers spread, your toes spread. Feel your shoulders slide down from your ears. Maybe notice where your breath is moving a little more. Is it the chest and the upper back? You feel more movement in the lower belly, lower back. Of course, making any subtle shifts that you need to. Coming out of the posture completely if you need, and then returning if it feels good. We'll just stay here for a few more moments. Maybe just noticing anywhere in the body where you can relax, soften, let go a little bit more. We're going to start to think about coming out of this posture. So when you're ready, press the palms down, lift the torso up, rotate your head to look to the mat or center. And then we round the spine, reach the hips towards the heels, roll up through the spine, stacking one vertebra at a time. Let your head come up, and we're gonna set up for mountain pose. So we can bring those pillows to the front of your mat. You could slide any props that were behind or under the shins or knees. You might even do some leg extensions just to get a little more blood flow circulation moving through those legs again after that stretch. And then we can keep those two locks to support the chest and the upper back. More stretch, have one on the second, left one on the third. If you want it a little more gentle today, just lower the blocks down. Okay, and then we're gonna bring our legs on top of our pillows and then recline back for that mountain. Feel your shoulder blades on the first block and your head on the top block. Make any subtle shifts you might need to. You could extend one arm and then the other. Maybe you lift your pelvis up a couple times to release the sacrum. We come back to that 4 to 6 count inhale, 4 to 6 count exhale. And inviting with each exhale the body to surrender to gravity a little more. We can make sure, just check on the direction of our hips, knees, and toes. You could internally rotate the legs, externally rotate, feel the knees, femurs, toes rotate in, and then rotate out. Maybe notice how the lower back and sacrum widens a little bit more when you rotate the legs in, and then let them go. And then find that place to comfortably rest the legs, maybe with a slight internal rotation of the hips, the knees, and the toes. And then offering that mudra to help clear clutter from the mind. So that center palm point is said to be the mind point in each hand. And the ring finger is the earth finger, good for grounding and nurturing. You could bring that ring finger pad to the center of each palm. If you'd like to expand the mudra a little bit more, connect it a little bit more, you can bring your thumb, index, and middle finger pad to touch. So the only finger that's extended is the pinky finger. And so this mudra is said to help clear clutter from the mind. So sometimes when the moon is full, we start to feel a lot of things or have a lot of thoughts. Not always, but sometimes. So this mudra can also help with clarity. And we'll practice 3 rounds of 6 count breath together in this mountain pose, this mudra if you'd like. So just starting with a long exhale out first. And we'll inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Continue with the breath if it feels helpful, or return to your natural breath practice. As we breathe here for a few more moments, I invite you to focus on your heart space or your sternum. See an image of the sun, the golden sun, right at that heart center. And then see an image of a golden flame at the top of your head, just above the top of the head. And then invite, as you breathe these next few rounds of breath, that energy or that image of the golden sun at your heart rising up to that golden flame at the crown of your head. And you might do that a few times and just notice, experience. And then you could rest your tongue at the roof of your mouth, behind the teeth, or that soft palate. And you could stay here longer if you'd like, or if you feel complete, release the mudra and move your fingers and toes again. You can even let your head gently rock, roll from side to side, releasing tension in the neck. We'll do that wrist finger stretch before we roll out of this, so we'll come back to center with any movement, that neutral space. Let's extend the left arm up towards the sky, so we're flexing at the wrist, reaching through the center palm. Take your right two-piece fingers and wrap your two-piece fingers around your left thumb and gently pull back. Feel both shoulder blades relax into that block. We move to the index finger, drawing the index finger back. To the middle finger, to the ring finger, to the pinky finger. Let your arms come to the side for a breath or two, just to notice the difference in each arm, each shoulder. We'll go to the second side, reaching the right arm up, pressing through the center palm, flexing at the wrist. Take the left two-piece fingers and gently pull back on your right thumb. Again, both shoulder blades are soft onto the block. To the index finger, to the middle finger, to the ring finger, to the pinky finger. And again, Let your arms rest down to the sides, palms facing up. You might wiggle the fingers and toes once more. You could add those wrists and ankle rotations here. And then as the body comes back to stillness, let's roll the fetal position. Let the right leg lead. Let the left leg follow. Catch yourself on your right side. Feel your right ear rest on your right arm, relaxing into the earth. Feel the right side of your body relax a little bit more to the ground. And as if the left side of your body could expand to the sky. And then just honoring where those two spaces meet in your Sushumna or your heart space, center. And we'll press our palms down, reach our hips to the ground, and slowly come on up to seated. Let's move through tabletop, cat and cow next. We'll add some hip circles if you'd like. So we'll clear the props. If you want that cushion underneath your knees, go ahead and grab your blanket or roll up your mat if you prefer. And we'll find our tabletop. So when you find your tabletop, you could use a block between the thighs, or you might just take a fist and just make sure that your thighs are a fist distance apart. And then we come back to that table. So we'll just start to move the spine sagittally. Send your hips back, reach your heart forward. Lift the spine, look towards your belly button. Cat spine. And so as we move through cow and cat spine today, we can glance at the inner elbows. And you might notice, as the spine goes one direction, your elbow creases might want to look to face one direction, and then when you round the spine, they might rotate another. I would just encourage for today, you can do this all the time, but today especially, make sure that those inner elbow creases are facing in. So try to avoid letting them rotate out or forward. And this can still be with your 4 to 6 count breath. And then you could stay with this, or we'll start to add some hip circles. So you can bring your hips to the right heel, to the left heel, shift into the left palm, the right palm. And this could start to add maybe a little more lower back stretch. And only do these circles if it feels okay for your knees and your shoulders. Reverse the opposite direction with your breath if you are circling. And then once you're even, we're gonna come back to neutral and we're gonna do a threading the needle. Now, if you think you might like to support your head a little bit for this threading the needle, you might grab one of your blocks and place it in front of you just to rest your head. So we're going to bring, now you could sit back on your heels, you could keep your hips lifted, so whatever feels better for your knees. You're gonna bring your right arm underneath your left armpit. And it could feel nice to keep your head on the ground, but a little lift could feel good too. We're gonna, then once you've threaded your right arm underneath your left armpit, draw your shoulder blades in towards your spine. So gentle squeeze in. Left hand can stay where it's at, or you might reach the left arm forward. If the head rotated does not feel good, just bring your forehead back down to the block, and that can be, it's going to feel like a little more modified stretch, but still supportive. 2 to 3 more breaths here. And then we're going to have that left hand back by the left shoulder, press into the palm and unthread the right arm. Let's go to the other side. So left arm can thread underneath the right armpit. Hips could go back to the heels, or maybe you keep them lifted. Looking towards those left fingertips, or keep your forehead on the block. Right elbow bent or extended. And just gently still drawing your shoulder blades in towards the spine. And we'll bring the right hand back by the shoulder, unthread the left arm. Let's do a couple more cow and cat spines just to even that out. Or maybe staying in cow or staying in cat is what is feeling best. And then we're going to stretch the spine out, and we're going to go to supported bridge next. So you could sit on the side of one hip, slide out any props you might have had underneath your knees. Keep that block near you. And let's also use the strap for supported bridge today. So if you want that extra cushion behind your head, you could put your blanket behind your head, or if you have a low pillow. And let's do that loop with the strap, where it's big enough to put your arms in, but small enough when you press your arms out, they don't go past your shoulders. To then step the feet and legs inside the strap and slide that strap up your legs. Yes. Great. Okay. And then once you have your strap around your legs, we're going to keep that block near you. Recline back onto the back. You can feel your head on top of that blanket or low pillow. If you are using a blanket and need more height, you can flip it, fold it over once more. So feel which feels best for your neck and shoulders today. Could feel nice if you're feeling tension there to give it a little extra support. Okay, and then as you arrive on the back, feel your outer thighs press into the strap, but imagine, just like we did with maybe the block or the fist between the thighs, just that still squeezing in with the inner legs, widening or expanding out with the outer legs. All right. And then let's just do some cat and cow pelvis before lifting up to supported bridge. So sticking the tail out towards the mat. Make sure there's enough space to slide your hands underneath your lower back. And then allow the lower back to widen, to flatten. And then just continue to rock the pelvis here. All right, and then the next time you widen the back, start to peel that spine up for supported bridge. You might slide your shoulders underneath you for additional support, shoulder blades, and then set the pelvis on top of the block. And so with the hips lifted, if you folded over any of your props, you might need to adjust them just to make sure that the neck bones, the neck vertebra aren't compressing, that there's a sense of freedom and it's easy to breathe. Just like we did at the beginning with legs up the wall, where we focused on breathing into our belly. Feeling movement there and around the sacrum. And that lower back or back of pelvis can widen on the block. If you want to try those leg extensions, extending those legs out along the mat, or extend the legs up like we did earlier, Viparita Karani. Any new movement in the legs, try to still feel the outer legs pressing out, and at the same time, the inner legs could draw in about 5 to 10% effort each direction. Okay, and then if you do have the legs extended, you might choose to bend the knees and bring the feet down onto the mat. Stay in bridge a little longer, or we're going to lift our hips up, slide the block out, and massage your back down to the ground, upper spine, middle spine to lower. Give yourself a breath or two. You might, with keeping the spine on the mat, you might move your shoulders, make sure there's no tension there. You can move your head side to side, releasing any neck tension. Once the head comes back to neutral or center, let's float the feet off the mat. We'll slide the strap off the legs, set it to the side, but not too far. We'll use it neck after this next variation. We're going to go up into low bridge, so we're going to place the block on the first level if it wasn't there yet. So we're going to step into the feet again. Imagine your strap is around your thighs, gently pressing out and squeezing in as you peel your spine up. When you're able to, slide that block underneath your pelvis first level, and we're going to do that psoas stretch next. So we're going to start with exhale, floating the right foot off of the mat. You could just let it hang out in space, or you could hold your right hamstring or shin with one or both hands. Then let's extend the left leg out along the mat. So hopefully you're starting to feel a stretch in your psoas or your hip flexor space. Still with the idea that that strap could be around your thighs. Now we're going to pull the right thigh down to the ground outside the right rib cage, and your left heel might float off the mat. And then you're going to release the pull of the right leg. Left heel can come back down onto the mat. Let's try a couple more. Exhale, pull, left leg floats up. We release. Let's do 2 more. So as we pull the leg, just naturally moving with your breath, without any force in the shoulders or neck. Okay, and then let's release. Extend both legs out if it's comfortable along the mat for a full breath. Inhale. Feel it reach your belly. Exhale. Walk your feet back towards your hips. Let's go to the second side. Draw your left knee in. Hold on to shin or hamstring if that's comfortable. And then extend your right leg out along the mat. You can exhale. Pull the left thigh towards you, towards the left side of rib cage. Right heel might lift. Release the pull. We do 2 more of these. Inhaling one direction, exhaling the other. And once you've done at least 3 The right heel comes back to the ground. Re-extend your left leg out. You feel that stretch, feel the breath. Breathe all the way down into your lower belly. And then bottom of your next exhale, walk your feet back towards your hips to that supported bridge. And then we're gonna lift off of the block, pelvis off the block, remove the block, and massage your back down to the ground. Now here we do windshield wiper knees. So just very slowly letting your knees drop to one side. Press through pinky toe palm out of each foot. Knees drop to the opposite side. And just inhale, center, exhale, release. Letting the knees drop from side to side. And then we're gonna just do some Supta Padangusthasana. That's gonna take us into Shavasana today. So grab that strap again, step your right foot into the strap, re-extend your right leg up. Once the right foot's in the strap, you can point and flex that right foot. Another great opportunity to feel or see maybe that hip, right hip, knee, and heel, ankle in line with each other. You might be able to exhale and pull the right leg closer to you. If it moves, great. If not, don't worry about it. Just like we felt on the blocks in mountain, shoulder blades relax towards the ground. Padangusthasana sees next. Heels of strap into your right hand. Slowly open your right leg out to the side. If it feels balancing for the body, let your left knee fall out to the left. And then press through that right heel hamstring to the wall that's in front of you. Short edge of your mat, maybe feeling a little more stretch. And then yogi's choice as you inhale, bring the right leg, left knee back to center. You could stay in A unless you're wanting to twist today, crossing that right leg across the body. You could still have that block we used for bridge near you. If you do, that block could go underneath the right inner calf or ankle for extra support. That can also support your lower back. So you get a twist, but it's not as intense. Focus can go to the ceiling, or you can look towards your right side of your mat. And feel for that breath from your right fingertips to your right toes, that connection that runs along your side body. If you are twisting before we come out of it, you can use your right hand, gently massage your right hip or thigh down from the rib cage. And then we're going to think about rolling on the back to come to center. So we inhale, slowly bring the right leg up. And then we're going to switch sides, stepping your left foot into the strap, bringing your right foot down. Seeing and feeling that hip, left hip, knee, ankle, and heel, making that straight line. You flex and point through that left foot. And one of your exhales, you might do that pull to see, maybe feel that left leg come closer to you. We'll go to C, open the left leg out to the left. Right knee could also fall to the right. And then we'll press the left heel, calf, hamstring to the short end of the mat in front of you. Breathing into the hips and the inner thighs. And then we can slowly inhale, bring the left leg, right knee back to center. Some of us will stay here. If you did the twist with the block, you could move that block to the right side of your mat now, crossing the left leg across the body. And again, we feel that stretch from our left fingertips to our left toes. And breathing into all that space between your rib cage, your outer hip. Before we come out of this, you could use your left hand and gently massage that left thigh down from your rib cage. Feeling that space. And then when you're ready, slowly inhale, roll back onto your back, bring your left leg to the sky, right knee to the sky. And then before we come out of this completely, step both feet into the strap. Just have a neutral Supta Paschimottanasana. Again, feeling the heels, the knees, and the hips line up in a straight line. And just ask yourself if there's any other movements you need to do or want to do. If you're feeling complete, you might remove the strap, bend your knees. You could rock side to side again. And just check in if there's any props you might like to use if you're moving into your Shavasana. If you have that pillow or blanket behind the head, it could stay, or it might feel nice at this point to bring it over your center of gravity. Also to help with keep your body temperature neutral and maybe slightly warmer. So once you've found your Shavasana variation, how you're going to end your practice, I'll invite back in that mudra we did with the hands earlier, where we brought the ring finger pad to the center of each palm, connected the thumb and the index finger pad, extending the pinky, and then just letting the hands rest down to the ground. I'll lead you through 3 rounds of that 6-count breath again. As we go into Shavasana, you might already place the tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth. So we connect to that energy point. All right. So let's start with a long exhale out first. And we breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Exhale 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inviting the body to relax a little deeper in your Shavasana. As you feel your body resting in the space around you, feel your inhale and your exhale. As you come back to your breath, you can bring in that image of the moon, that moon that will be full on Thursday in the zodiac sign of Aries. Asking us to reflect on how we're choosing to show up. Aries energy can be very much leadership or just feeling empowered on how you're contributing to the planet. It can also be dominating and warlike. So good to just be mindful if any of that's coming up for you. It might just be an opportunity to choose or choose differently. As you stay with your breath, you can breathe in that even count inhale, even count exhale, and slowly start to move your fingers and your toes. Good stretch. Eventually rolling to the right side. Feeling that connection to the earth, that connection to the moon, that yin energy, very matching to a restorative practice. And then slowly bringing yourself up to seated to close today. We can bring a hand over the heart and a hand onto the earth. Take a moment to feel your heartbeat here. And maybe feel the heart of the planet as well. Breathing into the internal body and the awareness or outer body. Inviting in balance between the two, we bring the hands together in front of the heart, Anjali Mudra, a mudra of balance and harmony, just inviting all that appears opposing to find union. Thank you for sharing your practice. Namaste.